here from Eric?
I did not.
I did not.
Sent an email saying he's not coming.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Their infection.
All right, well, I've got 6:30, so we'll go ahead and call to order this August 22nd meeting of the Merrimack Conservation Commission. So Mike, would you sit in as a voting member for Mike? And Dave, would you do the same for Gage? I thought I was gonna get reprimanded for not having my, just our next meeting, so everyone knows, our next meeting is September 12th. We don't have any public hearings. New business, we can start with, go right into new business. There are no statutory advisory items to cover, so we can start with the vote to remove a former member from the Scholar Subcommittee. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to remove Nicole Chrisman from the Scholar Subcommittee.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion by Mike Druin, second by Dave. Is there any discussion? This was something, it was kind of a loose end we left from our last meeting.
I think I was absent in our last meeting. Is there a reason why we're doing this?
Member came to my meeting. So,
And there were other members. We voted in the old members, but I guess the feedback we've got from downstairs was that we should have done the motion to remove.
The member prior to
Yeah.
accepting the, okay. And we have it pretty well documented, the meetings through the minutes, the meetings okay. All right.
I tried contacting her husband, no response. So
Okay.
she was
Alright.
still getting all the emails up until this past Scholar meeting.
Yep.
Never any response.
And what's the standard? How many meetings in a row do we know?
There isn't one for the subcommittee,
Yeah.
I don't
There
believe,
isn't
right?
N-
I mean,
no.
we haven't done an official rules.
No, and
So-
there's
There might be something in the,
yeah.
but since we're gonna be changing that, I guess. I don't know.
So if there isn't anything official, how long has this member been absent from the
All of
subcommittee?
them.
Since when?
February.
Yeah.
Since- okay.
Joined and just never, we kind of lost contract or never came to
Don't know
any
what
of them, right?
Okay.
And this was kind of just an administrative thing to clean up, but one thing that too, part of that discussion was that, when we have new subcommittee members, we really their names ought to appear on the agenda. One, it took longer than it needed to just appoint all these new volunteers
Yep.
to some of these subcommittees. So that was certainly a lesson learned we shouldn't forget for next time we have, people interested in volunteering on any of these subcommittees.
Yeah. And the reason for my question, I just want to make sure if we're actually going to remove somebody that
Mhm.
volunteered to participate on a committee or board in town, that we're doing the right thing. And obviously, if this person hasn't been in contact with the subcommittee since February, Mike's tried to reach out and get contact. It's probably the right thing to do. I wanted to make sure we weren't just
Mhm.
pulling the trigger and with not being present at the last meeting, missing
Right.
a little contact. So thank you very
Mhm.
much. I appreciate it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? What do we have, 6, yeah, motion carries, 6-0. Mike, this was your agenda item, you want to
Well-
talk to us a little bit about the second item here, creation of the Scholar parcel map?
Well, I didn't mean for it to be an agenda item. Katie Little asked for the
Mhm.
CAD file, so I asked you for the CAD file. I don't know anything about those, so.
No, these two agenda items kind of play together, so I can help a little bit, because we've been talking to Tim about this, or this was some kind of unfinished business. We knew when chapter 111 got, once that got finalized, we knew we needed to update our maps, because some of the trail restrictions obviously have changed. We have two unmapped parcels, Scholar, and Fields Farm, flagstone parcels. I mean, obviously there are a lot of others that aren't mapped. So one of our previous meetings, one of the items we discussed was to go back to NRPC and communicate to them what kind of updates we wanted. So I know we want the new Chapter 111 restrictions added. We want to recode those trails. There are probably, and I would need some help from all of you, there are probably some trails that have migrated, or maybe we've adjusted, we've amended their routes slightly. A couple at Horse Hills, I think, didn't we move them a little bit because they were in some areas where there were some widow makers that the critters created? Did we do some of that?
Well, there was one, it wasn't for that reason. I'm trying to remember. Might have been
Maybe it was erosion.
erosion. I think it was erosion. Yeah.
I know we want to map Scalar. So what I did was I did reach out to NRPC, and this is just, I'm going to bring it, we'll put it on the next agenda. But I've started with them to prepare a quote. And they're really reasonable. A lot of the legwork has been done. That whole process, that was a major undertaking. I think we were the prototype, the first time they really came out to a community, a town, and did a comprehensive mapping of all the, I think they actually go out and walk all the trails or ride all the trails with GPSs, do all that. And it was a product that was two other communities liked so much. Amherst, I think, might have been Hudson, Amherst and Hudson. Two other communities near here, kind of used our model and did the same thing.
Nice.
So it's a pretty light lift. I've been, corresponding and talking to the woman down there who does this. So for the next agenda, what I'm suggesting is I'll put this on our next meeting agenda. We can talk about it and we can vote. I'll make sure that the quote is included with the packet. And we can vote whether or not we want to appropriate funds to update our maps or how much we want to undertake. But the one thing I need from all you before I can ask for a good quote is where do we really need them to go out and GPS remap things? Scalar would be one, but do we really need them to go out and walk the other parcels, or do we just need them to update the existing database with new trail names, new trail restrictions, and so forth?
I don't know that there have been enough changes to Horse Hill to justify a complete new remapping.
Yeah, I don't think they need to completely remap it, but I don't know if they can go out and just do one trail, maybe.
They certainly can do one trail.
But yeah.
And if we know of those trails, I guess that's exactly what I'd like. If we know those trails, please shoot me. Can we do that by the end of the week? Shoot me an email with that trail name, because they know where they all are, and then they can go out and redo it. I don't want them to ask them to prepare a quote to redo all of Wildcat Falls.
Right.
When really we know only one trail has been altered or amended.
And we might have to check with subcommittees. I mean, at the time, we did get giant maps, to take back to the subcommittees. And so people could, make the changes on the map. And then at some point, we would, do this. I don't know whether that happened with any of the subcommittees, because, things get lost over time. But, but I think we probably need to check with the subcommittees first.
Yeah.
Or to get the details.
Do we think we can get all this back by Friday, and I'll send this all to her this weekend? Well, September 11th? I guess we have a little longer.
I'll
but-
email Mark of Horse Hill tonight or tomorrow morning and just ask him if he thinks any particular trail needs to be redone. I'll let him know what's pending.
And
Okay,
I'll
and with
look
Scalar, maybe just if you could send me the GIS print and maybe highlight which trail name, and just highlight where they are. We'll have them go out and map them. The advantage to doing that is that we have a similar look to all our parcel maps, and it is more user-friendly that way. She said that's what a lot of towns did, was they took this on in small bits and pieces, and they have one trail map for one parcel that may be, handwritten. It looks like something out of a coloring book, and then they have another one for another parcel that's, she said that was why ours was really appealing to some of the other towns, is just the way we undertook them all four flagship parcels at once.
And you can use that app, ARC or something, maybe?
Well, I'm
where
glad you
can-
brought that up. That was the other thing. I said, what other things would you recommend maybe we consider doing? And she said, that is one thing. NRPC, because they do most of their work for municipalities, they don't really have a reason to try to to import the NRPC data into other apps. But she says what some conservation commissions have asked is, and they can do it, they just won't do it unless we ask them to do it and fund it, but they can make it, they can import that into All Trails or one of those similar apps. You use one.
I do. I use for mountain biking, and they're very useful. Well, and I use it for mountain bike, but like All Trails, you can sort if you want a hiking trail or if you want mixed use, however you want.
Is it All Trails that you use?
I use Trail Forks mainly,
Trail
but it's very similar. I use Trail
Okay.
Forks just because it's mountain bike focused, but
So this is sharing mapping info with different apps?
Like I said, I have a quote, but it's really not complete because I wasn't able to articulate to her all the things we might want her to look at. Did one of you volunteer to get me the Scholar GIS with the highlighted trails that we want mapped?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, I don't remember what the name
Or
of that.
someone on the subcommittee can help you. I know there's 2 trails, right? That we want?
Well, there's, 3
Think about it.
or
I don't need
4.
to know now. I'll ask her for whatever you give me.
I'll let you know.
And I don't know, Fields Farm, until we solve the access problem, we probably don't want them to go out there and do
great
much with
woods.
Fields Farm.
kind of what it looks like.
In that case, at what point would we want to map that? Is that something that comes before a subcommittee is set up or after?
Probably, I think,
I would
Green
think
is
after,
easy,
yeah,
blue's a little
because
bit
some of the
harder.
trails
They
that are
go
there,
black
they might
and
close
then
them
red.
down.
You can switch from hiking or
But
whatever.
it's ArcGIS is the app that I have on here that they had said before, so you can literally pull up our properties on this and it tells you where you are and it shows you walking and
Yeah, is that the same as RTS Explorer?
RTS, maybe, let's see. This says ARCGIS Explorer.
But yeah,
It's
the
the
big
same thing.
expenses for field work and custom mapping, she said with Merrimack, all that's been done with the exception of
Right.
Scholar.
Yeah, and Gage would know better, I think, about the
I did include
apps
him
and
with
stuff, so
all the,
he'd remember.
the feedback
questions.
I had with her, so.
Okay.
I was sent this map of Fields Farm. Has a trail system with all names on it.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Mm.
Yeah,
I'll
I
send
think we
that
want
to
a
you.
subcommittee first. I'll have her leave Fields Farm out of it
because
first.
apparently these are maintained by someone.
What app is that off of All Trails?
No, I would just sent that to someone, so.
And who is it you've been speaking with at NRPC? Is it Katie?
No, Sarah.
Sarah, thank you. Thank you, I'll look that up for the minutes.
I'll let you know.
Bennett's in here. Any other, did I cover everything, Mike, that you wanted to discuss with parcel mapping and so forth for Scholar?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, we'll revisit it then next week unless someone else has something,
next week.
or not next week, next meeting,
Hmm.
next meeting. All right, that brings us to other business, subcommittee updates. Anything?
On behalf of Horse Hill, I want to thank the New England Mountain Bike Association. Their cleanup day goes back a ways now, but I just want to make sure they get a public thanks for what they did. I went out to the trailhead the morning they came out, and it was family day.
Really?
A couple of dozen people came out, all willing to work. That was at the Old Kings Highway trailhead. But thumbs up to them, and I think that augurs well for future cooperation.
Hmm.
Also, this is not my subcommittee, but I wanted to mention it. There was a problem we had in an email. Someone in, I think it was Wildcat Falls, their dog had been pursued by other dogs that were not under the control of their owners. Most of our neighbors are terrific about controlling their animals, but I'd like to remind us that there are laws in the town about animal control. when you're on a conservation property, you need to be in control of your dog, and it is a finable offense if you're not. And also, there's no poop ferry. I had some problems with that
Oh, no.
on various properties. So, responsible dog owners, thank you very much. Those who are not keeping an eye on their dogs, please, let's tighten that up, because it's interfering with our neighbors' enjoyment.
Thank you, Ellen. And I know Mike's not here tonight, but the Wildcat Farm Subcommittee did meet. He said that the 2 notes that he wanted to pass along were they are looking to add 4 more no parking signs. It's in the area just east of the entrance. That's the area we're pretty familiar with from where we had the problems. There are some signs there, but they're looking to add a few in between. People are prone to park along that area there. And their other thing is their bridge construction and workday is scheduled for October 15th at Wildcat Falls. Anyone else? Anything? Any further subcommittee updates?
Yeah, so I met with the Merrimack River Watershed Council. We had a walk there at Sklar. They really enjoyed it. We walked for about 3 hours. Bushwhacked a little bit. But, you know, they mapped out the invasives where they are. They're gonna get back to us on a proposed plan to have them pay a contractor to go out there and remove them with their funds. So, and they also sent me an email asking if they could do a walk at there, probably on September 17th, on a Saturday. It'll be a guided hike through the park, talking about the natural and human history of the area. I believe it would be a good thing to do to promote.
Excellent. Well, again, I think you know this, Mike. The only thing to be cautious of, it sounds like it probably will involve a quorum of the subcommittee, so I don't know why you wouldn't advertise it anyhow, but I would just make sure it goes on a schedule and someone takes notes for it. Did you raise your hand? Oh.
No.
Oh. Any other other business discussions involving issues or concerns? And again, community development kind of clarified what this item on the agenda is, but it's not new items. It's just really follow up to old items that don't require an action or a vote or anything like that.
Okay, I noticed on the minutes for the last meeting, there was mention of the E. coli count at Sklar. The last check by the Muskegon Watershed Association was on August 16th. It was last Tuesday, and it's down. It's at
Oh, that's good.
17, which is a very good number, what we like to see.
I was in there. with
And
my-
there'll be one more test, and that's on the 30th.
Mm.
And that's it for the year.
Yeah, I was in the water with my trash bags on the legs, raking out some
Yeah.
of that
I-
nettles weed.
I assume
So it
I'm
doesn't-
standing in E. coli soup until I hear otherwise.
But I think some of the success with the E. coli is probably just the fact that we haven't had those torrential rains. So that's the
That's
silver,
the other side.
silver lining to the
Yeah.
dry conditions we've had. I had one item to report under this on the agenda, and that was that community development is working. They have offered to assist us to kind of, we had a conversation about especially the field farm, the way the deeds were transferred and stuff. So I think the person that's going to dig into it is on vacation now, but as soon as they're back, they'll see if they can at least guide us, give us some direction on where to go next, whether it be easements or what the most appropriate way to have a good access point or a good trailhead for Fields Farm is.
Now, I see there's no comment of any sort, commissioner or not. Why?
It's a standardized agenda. I don't know if you should have gotten it.
Well, I read the very long email,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, who's this guy? Never heard of him before. But why though? Why are they trying to fix a problem that's not
We
there?
can still, we'll go around the horn at the end and can do commissioner comments, but. Yeah, again, they're just trying to streamline these and make them look similar and improve our efficiencies. Anything else? No? The minutes? Someone like to make a motion?
I move that we accept the minutes of the July 25th, 2022 meeting with the following corrections.
Second.
Motion by Ellen, second by Cindy.
First thing is, on the top of the page, remove annual meeting. This was not the annual meeting.
Oh,
Hmm.
And then on page 4, line 144, I was surprised to find I had been named to a position that expired on June 30th. So yeah, I'm not sure when my term ends, but I'm quite sure it wasn't June 30th, 2022.
Yeah, if we said that, we didn't mean it, I guess.
Right.
I didn't have a chance to check.
I'm
don't
just not sure how many
think
years
we
it goes
did.
for.
Well, it should have been till the 23rd.
Okay.
But if we actually said the 22nd, then we'd have to go redo it. But I think we said the 23rd, so
That's okay.
if
Mhm.
Stephanie
I'm
could
gonna
just
put that
listen
in
and
there.
check, then
Yep.
it should be, yeah, 23.
And that's all I had.
I had on page 1, for the members, just to put under, add alternate member, next to, Mike Druin, Dave Trippett, and Gina Rosati. I'm pretty sure we have done that in the past.
Mm.
And then on page 2, row 70, I think there should be vice chair, just to change that,
Vice Chair, let me see.
just a spelling.
Yes.
Chair. And then on page 5, row 176, I think her name is just Liz. Liz Petrides, not
Vice
Liza.
Chair, Okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
pretty sure.
176.
That's all I have.
Anyone, anybody else? No? All right, let's vote to approve as amended. All in favor? 5 in favor, 1 abstained. Andy abstained? Mhm. We have no public, non-public session, and Ellen and I were talking about this. We're gonna see if we can go ahead and remove this. It just doesn't make sense. We do so few of those. And I think generally we always schedule them as a separate meeting when we've done them. Not always, I
Well,
guess.
yeah, most time it's after, or I guess sort of in between this meeting,
Mhm.
but it's not usually on here unless we actually have one.
Mhm.
And,
No trouble.
and, I did check the planning board and the zoning board agendas, and they
And they
don't
don't
list
have
it. So I think we could just take
Mhm.
it off unless we need it, and then adjournment would be number 6. And if we add it, had
Mhm.
one, then they would just move adjournment down, so.
I guess we can go around the horn. Anyone have any comments for the group? Commissioner comments? Dave? Vacation season. I don't know about you. Whenever I take a vacation, I find I'm doing more work than I am when I'm at work.
Working up there, so.
Andy, anything?
Nothing.
I have nothing.
Now, I talked about this in the spring. I said, when we had that problem, I said, we don't always follow the rules ourselves. Now, we approved rules for how we do things back in June. Now, one of us here has missed 7 meetings in a row. we need to talk about that at some point. That's all.
Mm-hmm. How about, I can give you some background on that. But I'm pretty sure the way our rules of procedure are written, if someone's actively engaged and involved in contributing to what the commission does, and if we're maintaining quorums, we can totally excuse them, whether it be they may have a reason. Yeah, I don't think that anyone's really violating. If we were
It
short
just-
of a quorum, that person would have been here.
It's just, we have 20-something thousand people.
Mhm.
Surely, there's another person in town that would take that seat for that seemingly inactive member. That's what I'm
Does
talking
anyone
about.
else feel like we need to put that on an agenda and have a,
I haven't heard that anyone's applied or is looking.
Yeah, do you feel like as chair, if you need that person, you have access to that person?
absolutely.
Then I don't know what problem we're fixing by pushing the issue.
I think Ellen probably would tell us that person's still doing,
Yes.
putting a hell of a lot more hours into this process on a weekly basis than I am.
Yes.
Anyone else have?
That's all.
All right, anyone want to make a final motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Cindy, second by Dave, all in favor? Wow, nicely done.
Sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Meeting adjourned at 6:58.
That
was
is
kidding.
a record.